going to show you how to make Whirligig. To make a Whirligig, you're going to need a few tools and materials you probably have on hand. You're going to need scissors or maybe a craft knife if you have a cutting mat you can work on. You're going to want a ruler, and you're going to need some sort of thin stick. These bamboo skewers work pretty good if you can find a nice straight round one. If you have a small dowel, that will work, as long as it's straight. A real crooked one like that won't work very good, but if you look through your materials, find one that's relatively straight. Sometimes a chopstick, like one of the chopsticks from a takeout, will be a good material for the stem. Or you can use a straw, perhaps. You can find a stiff one. The straw doesn't work quite as well, though, I found. It's not as heavy as you really want. You're looking for something that's not very heavy, but heavy enough to have some momentum to help your whirligig continue spinning. For the blades, you're going to need something that's a little bit stiffer than ordinary paper. This is the thin cardboard from the back of a pad of paper. Something like this would work. Or you might have some cardstock or something. Ordinary printer paper is just a little too flimsy, I found. It doesn't hold up when it's spinning. All right, so we can start by cutting off a piece of your stiffer, thick paper. And you want to have both sides of the blade to be pretty much symmetrical so that it will spin without being too wobbly. So I'm going to use a ruler here and get it carefully lined up. Make my mark. Now, if you have a craft knife, you could cut it, but probably more likely at home you're going to have scissors. Try and be accurate with your cutting. Now, one thing I found when you're cutting thick paper, sometimes it's hard to get your hand all the way in there without bending or warping the paper. So sometimes cutting from both edges in towards the center will give you a cleaner job. Trim nice and even. Okay, now we need to measure and find the center point of this piece. So with my ruler, I can double check here. Looks like that is about 21 cm. So half of 21 is 10 and a half. So I'll make my tick mark there. And just to double check, I'm going to measure from the other end, 10 and a half. You can see that my tick mark's pretty close together. By putting one from either end, I can guarantee I can take away some of the inaccuracies on my layout. I also need to find the center here. Here it looks like it's about 3 cm. Half of 3 is 1.5. So there is my center line. Now looking at my stick, I'm going to use this skewer right here, nice and round, pretty straight. And we're going to need to be able to poke this through the middle. Now there's a number of different ways you might want to do this. If you have something like a pin, or a sewing needle or something, this can make a good starter for poking it through. If you have a scrap piece of cardboard, like here's a piece of shipping box that I can use to back up while I'm taking this pin. I'm going to poke it right through, get that started. Now, the skewer, twist a little bit as I poke it through. You can get a hole right in the center. Now we're going to make the wings to the correct shape so that they will develop some lift. I'll take my ruler again, and I'm going to measure. Let's see, this whole thing is 21 cm. I'm going to measure in 9 cm from the edge. I'll make a tick mark. I'm going to rotate this around, measure 9 cm in from the other edge. And I'm going to measure in 1 cm. Make my line. Again on the other side, measure in 1 cm. Make my line. You'll notice that they're on opposite corners here, right? So they're not both on the same side. this thing's gonna rotate, so the blades have to be opposite sides, like so. My scissors again, cut there, just in that 1 centimeter distance. Likewise here. And now, holding my ruler on top to help make sure that I'm all straight and even, I'm going to take this one side, I'm going to bend it up a little bit. Okay, so bend just a little bit of flex like so. And do the same thing here on the other side. Make sure that it's all even. All right. Next step, we're going to assemble the post stem to the wing. So if you have a nice tight fit here, it should hold itself pretty well. And now I need to glue this two pieces together. If you have something like a hot melt glue gun, then it's pretty easy here. You can just put a few dabs of hot melt glue just to hold it in place. Just need a couple of dabs. We're not trying to add a lot of weight. But if you don't have a hot melt glue gun, and what you have is something like Elmer's school glue, now you have to practice some patience. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put a little bead of glue all the way around the bottom. Make sure that this is upright where I like it. And now I have to walk away and let it dry. We're looking at 45 minutes to an hour where you just have to let it sit. All right, now that once the glue is dry, we're going to do one final thing to make it fly a little bit better, and that is we're going to bend these wings up just a little bit of up angle there. To make it fly, you use your hands to spin it